yet. So I'm gonna show y'all this song.
All right.
Let's hear it, man.
It's a working title, so don't pay attention to that.
Hey, turn that up just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Does that work or no?
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Today I think you'd like. I didn't mean to bother, I just thought it would be nice. I hope you like it. But anyways, what's poppin'? How's your life? I'd love to pop a bottle if you ever got the time. I don't need anything, but everything has not been feeling right. The conversations, who's the latest one to keep me up at night? Flip through the pages, I'm a product of the time. Don't call me crazy, you just lucky that I'm still sitting in line. I think you know just what they would say if you say you fuck with me. Let's say that I'm not dropping heat, then what would it be? Would it all change if you saw me on the TV or vacating in Tel Aviv? Shit, I just might be. The money means nothing to me. I just fell in love with the beat, but nothing is free. So I gotta market so then I can eat. Don't know how to act. Bendo been smoking on thrax, huffing the fumes from the gas. Fuck do you mean? They will not see you with me. You are not part of the pack, and that is a fact. I do not act with a gap, but homie who do may react. I hope it's okay. I don't hear a thing that you say. I don't have the time for all that.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I like this shit.
It's crazy how many different sounds.
I like this shit.
I was really trying to showcase my versatility on this track.
Bro, he sounds about like 5 different people, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
Or 5 different people.
So if you think you wanna reach your hand into my pocket, just take the shit and leave. I know my antics are obnoxious.
Nah, this shit fire. If I had a fucking lighter right now, I would flip it.
Pray to God, but I'm still looking for
Matter of fact, hold on.
solace in the science. You should try it. And I'm amazed that no one has complained. I know you think I'm faking, girl. I think you have a case. I feel it's strange.
This is the best part.
Cause things have never been the same since you cocked it back in vain. On my motherfucking brain, she give me brain while I drop. I'm on a whole nother vibe. I feel the tension is building. We just hit 75. As long as we still arrive, I'm fine with wasting some time. Nothing but trouble can come from what happens deep in the night. And she don't wanna see me winning, she just wanna see me later. Heard you calling from a distance, I'ma call you over later. Feel like God is so sadistic, I can barely tell the difference when I'm drunk or when I'm sober. I am never getting closure.
Hey, okay. Hey.
Nah, I fuck with this shit. This shit heavy. I like this a lot. Man. this shit long as fuck. How long has it been?
It's like it's a cool like 5.5 minute track.
Yeah, I'm like, this shit long as fuck. Hey.
This is like an album. That's like the joint you cool.
It's gonna be the intro to an album for sure.
It'll be the intro. Oh, you say yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, bro, that got to be the outro.
That's why I said outro.
They either got to be the outro or an interlude. One of the two.
Hell yeah. You know what?
It got to be one or the other.
It's gonna be a standalone track, like in its own, definitely.
Yeah.
That's dope.
What's the name of that joint again?
The working title is just Loneliness, but that's kind of corny, so I kind of want to change it.
Unless you spell it different.
What did you say, Q?
Unless you spell it differently, like you did there, like unless you find a way to make it like maybe you capitalize like a L or something on there, like in the middle, like you do something weird with the title, then it might look tight.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I mean, it's a long way from being out. Like I hold on to my shit. Pardon me. I hold on to my shit for like fucking forever before I release it.
Nah, that was fire, man. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, man, your sound is very, very it's just refreshing. I'll put it like that. It's refreshing.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those you have one of those styles that like you kind of have to feel. You have to. If you don't feel it, then you're just not a fan of what you're hearing. But like, you know, it's very. I think you get into a lot of subjects that people will be very surprised that you're getting into. But you do it in a creative way. I'll say that.
Well, you
can't. I ask like I'm not like coming at you, but like what subjects?
Like you were just talking about like earlier. The fact that you have a song called Blue Pill. I never even heard the song yet, but I'm just saying the way you attack the stuff you talk about is from like a different perspective, right? So like most people will just talk about like, for example, loneliness in the most like generic way possible, you know, but like the way you're attacking the subject is like from just a different angle. That's all I'm saying.
No, and I appreciate that. I was just unclear like about what you meant, but like that's exactly
that's cool.
That's exactly what I try to do. Like with that song, like sure I can make a song. Like, okay, Tyler the Creator, he did that song like Mr. Lonely 911 or 911. That song is super hard, but he comes at it like really. The way that he comes at it is like super. It's from his own perspective. You know what I mean? Like. He's not saying like X made a song called like X would make a song and be like, I'm so lonely, I'm so sad, like I wish that time never passed or something like shit like that. He would do it fine, but it wouldn't be like super. It wouldn't make you feel like you know X. When Tyler makes a song, you feel like that's my homie and he's telling me his problems. And so like I just try to like for me. So when I think of the idea of loneliness, right? What can I draw from? What experiences can I bring to the table that maybe someone could relate to that I've experienced in my past?
Yeah, I mean that's and to me that's in this day and age to be able to be relatable is key. And to be relatable is not like what Uch said. It's not generic. Like you just saying, "Oh, I love you," blah 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 blah, or "I'm hurt." Yeah. It's finding ways to say it in a unique way. That's how you become relatable. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Stick with people more.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, keep doing that shit, man. Hey, whenever you want to drop that song, man, we here for that. That shit is flames. That's flames.
Appreciate you, bro.
Bro,
I appreciate you.
I'm about to. This is gonna be a regular part of the show, bro. Like,
do not burn your house down.
I gotta bring it. Yes, sir, man.
Imagine telling the fire department burn your house down. Burn my house down listening to Uncle Bendr's joint. Loneliness.
You know what's that's definitely not what I would expect when someone said I burned the house down. What was that shit called, bro? Was that shit flames? Yeah, it was called Loneliness. It was sad as fuck.
Yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate you for joining the show, man. Honestly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, anytime you want to pull up, hey, I'm telling you, man. For real, you got it, man. You got the invite.
Bro,
Don't even trip. For real.
I love this
Don't
shit.
trip.
Hey man, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Q, you kind of look like Kid Cudi. That's been on my mind. Before I left, you know.
See, you're not the first person that said that, man. Let me just put it that way. Not the first. So my ex told me, she was like, "Yo, I literally thought that was you on Day and Night." Like, I was like, "How did you?" She said, "How did you get in that video?" He's like, "That's you." Like, there was an angle that he did. You look like Kid Cudi, like exactly like that.
That's funny.
But that's also my favorite artist, like ever. So.
Damn.
Kid Cudi is dope, man. That's why I don't get mad about it. I just be like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And when people tell me I look like Rondo or Spike Lee, I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Those are two greats. They're great at what they do. Hey, man, fuck it.
They used to try to call me Justin Bieber when I was a young boy, and I was just
Justin Bieber.
Yo, you kind of do look like the Biebs, man. Nah, you know who he looked like? Sorry, you know what? I'm gonna give you props.
Give me
He looks like you. The Kid Leroy looks like you.
The Kid Leroy?
He looks like you.
No.
He does. Go pull up a picture.
That man, how do y'all feel about him?
I love
the Killer. Honestly, the Killer was fire. He's fire.
Love the Killer.
He kind of came out of nowhere though, huh?
Nowhere. I don't know. I didn't hear about him. I was surprised to hear he was from Australia, but
Isn't he like he rolled with like Juice WRLD and shit, like that record label?
Yeah, that's how I knew about him, because he's kind of like supposed to be his successor, Juice WRLD's successor, kind of.
Yeah, so I feel like they just are. I don't like that aspect, but
yeah,
his music's pretty cool. I don't like the idea of someone dying and then them trying to push someone like, oh, here's this. This is
next person.
Yeah.
Instead
of him.
I feel you. But I will say he was around. He was around for like at least a year or two before Juice WRLD passed. I mean, not that I wasn't on his music. I didn't know anything
because they weren't pushing him.
Exactly. Well, exactly. But like, I just found out about him probably about a year ago. Yeah. First song I heard was Addison Rae, which, listen, I don't know about y'all. I'm not a fan of. You know what? Bless Addison Rae. I don't want to talk shit about her. God bless her soul. She's not my type. But hey, listen, that's his type. He's a fire artist, though. I fuck with him, though, in general. I fuck with him.
Yeah, it's funny because he actually exceeded expectations for me. Like, based off of what I was hearing about him, I was like, there's no way this kid's, like, as good as people think. And then, like, when I heard his first album, that's a fantastic debut album.
It is fire.
That joint is fantastic.
It's fire. I mean,
that's all front. No lie, no hype. I don't save people's, like, songs or albums, like, unless I really, really like it. I've saved probably like 5-6 songs by him, man. Like he's
and I'll say something before we get up out of here. I'll be honest because I don't know if you get this or not, but the fact that you're white in a hip hop game, has that ever crossed your mind? Or do you ever come across people who don't respect your music? You know what I'm saying? Like, does that ever come across your mind? Because I feel like that's what people were doing to Kid Leroy. Yeah. Until I put his music on and I'm like, okay, this shit is like undeniably fire. I gotta give it up.
I think like no one ever said that to Mac Miller, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was, regardless of what the music that he was making was, it was undeniably his music. Like, no one else was doing that, right? So I think the issue really comes into play when it's like somebody like it's like with like there are like plenty of kids like how like SoundClouds, like white kids like from like my town who have like SoundClouds and shit, and they just go on and make like the same like generic SoundCloud rap, and it's kind of just like a joke or whatever. Like, it's not like, it's like, I don't want to say it's like, I don't know. Like, if you're
they're not really pushing the boundary. They're not really like adding they're not adding like their own like, flair to it, right?
You can't. It's like at that point, it's like then like the argument of like appropriation and all that comes in, like when it's just literally just a blatant ripoff of someone else's shit. But I feel like when you come in with your own angle, and you do it tastefully, and you just like, number one, are just true to like yourself, and like you make the music that it exists within your head, and I think that's really all you can ask of someone. But as far as anyone like coming at me for that shit, like I'm sure maybe like a couple of times someone has said something like in like seriousness, but like my homies fuck with me. Like I was on my video shoot, my homie Jamel, he was calling me like he posted on his story, he was like behind the scenes at the Jack Harlow fucking video shoot. You know, but that's just shit that like with your homies. So like that's really the extent of my like what I deal with. I mean, I'm sure later down the line as I gain traction, obviously get more critics, but I'm not too worried about it because I know who I am and I know that I'm giving people what I am like in the most like honest way. So I mean, if people don't like that, then they don't like me, and if you don't like me, then I really don't care if you listen to my music.
Exactly. And honestly, I want to say this, Q, before you jump in. I respect that. Honestly, I respect that. And my question is not me saying like people should come at you. That's not what I'm saying.
I know, bro.
I want to make that very clear because like even the fact that we have you on the show and the fact that we fuck with your music. Listen, man, we're about this life, this music shit. So like we see past the gimmicks.
That's
we see past the bullshit. So like what I hear personally is somebody who's authentic in the type of music they make. So
I was going to say like,
I'm not tripping on that at all.
I was going to say music in this day and age, music is all about authenticity. If you're authentic, then people like you, like regardless. Like Drake, for instance, Drake came out. He said, "I'm a heartbroken dude. Like I'm a cheesy guy when it comes to love. Like it came from an authentic place, so people accepted it." And then number two, at the end of the day, like I've learned to not call people hip hop as much. Like Mac Miller to me, as much as Mac Miller is a hell of a rapper. Like Mac Miller is somebody that can go bar for bar of anybody. But to me, he makes just good music. Like,
he was a musician.
He was
He was doing jazz. Exactly. He was doing the blues.
Exactly. Like to me,
R&B. He was doing all types of shit.
People want to put everyone in like a box, right? Like they want to call him a hip hop artist. He made a hip hop album. He's made hip hop albums. But if you listen to like Swimming or whatever, Circles, like that's a pop album, bro. Like that's a R&B album. Like it's not.
It takes elements. Nowadays, hip hop music, what people call hip hop music, takes elements of everything. It takes elements of pop, R&B, rap. It takes elements of country. It takes elements of alternative music. Like if you listen to the Kid Laroi is actually closer to like alternative pop with like trap vibes.
Yeah, trap is like very quickly become like pop music in America, right? Yeah. Like so, obviously you can't fault people for drawing from.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't like tell people that they can't draw inspiration from arguably the largest genre of arguably the largest genre of fucking music. Like, bro, everybody like I don't know what started it. I don't know who started it, but like you hear Atlanta in like almost every hit song. Like you hear aspects, you hear the 808s, you hear the fucking pitched up hi-hats, like bro.
You hear it in commercials. I've heard cell phone.
Just fucking Reese's commercials.
Bro, that shit's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's fucking everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And the fact that oh man, you just said something that sparked something else, man. Should we do a part 2 of this, or should we just keep going? Like honestly,
we could run a part 2, bro.
Bro, what the fuck?
People got short attention spans. Make it like a week later or something. And then, hey, part 2, I'll show Blue Pill.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's coming up.
That's a good. You know what? We should do that, man. Hey, listen, you like I said, you were the first guest on the show, the first real guest. So
y'all are my first podcast.
We show you major props.
Podcast.
I'll take that for what it is, but like even what you were saying, man, like
that also means you're the best podcast.
Hey.
And the worst podcast.
We'll take it.
And the most mediocre one too. Throw it all in there while you at it.
Definitely the most ill-advised.
There you go. But like even what you were saying, right? Like the fact that trap is pop. I've been telling Q on this fucking podcast for about 2 years now that hip hop is fucking pop music. I'm tired of the word pop and what that shit has meant for so long. Right? I get it. I understand what pop means. I understand what it meant originally, popular. You know what I'm saying? But like the fact that hip hop is the most popular genre, popular as in the most consumed. Why is it that we're not calling hip hop pop? And you know what? That's fine. If we don't want to call hip hop pop, I need people to start acknowledging hip hop as the most popular genre, like it is, and like it has been for like the last year and a half, man. So
how can you not recognize it, bro? Look at
it's nuts.
Literally a fact. It's a fact. You can't deny the fact.
Literally a fact. It's literally a fact.
People want to always fucking talk about facts and shit, but then when it comes to shit they don't agree with, they're like, "Whoa, no, it can't be the most popular. Rock and roll albums are on a different metric." Like, no, shut the fuck up. No one's listening to rock and roll music. As sad as that is, I'm not listening to anything that was made before fucking 1998.
Yeah.
That's real shit though. Hey, no. And that's facts. Nobody's fucking listening to the old shit. Listen, the whole fucking the sound wave, the sonics of music, everything that has been produced over the last fucking 15 years, I would argue is heavily dominated and influenced by hip hop music, specifically the South. Specifically the South. Let's be real.
I want to let y'all talk for a second, or like finish what you're about to say, but then I want to talk about I have something I want to talk about after that. But yeah, go.
No, I mean I'm just saying, and Q, you can jump in here after this, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's funny how we always talk about you know, New York City, not we, but like people always talk about New York City as like the mecca of hip hop. And I understand, listen, I pay respects to all the greats, the origins of the actual genre itself. And I don't want to disrespect or like take away from any of that because they deserve that, right? 70s, 80s, that's where the shit came from. I'm not going to take away from that. However, if you really want to have a real conversation, which most people don't want to have, I would say in the 90s, of course, the early 2000s, going into the 2010s, we're in 2020 right now. I would make a legitimate argument that because hip hop has been so dominant globally, it has had more of an impact in the last 20 years than it did in the 90s. When people keep talking about Pac and Big and all these people, which again, I'm not disrespecting them at all, but I'm just saying, I don't think people give enough credit of the last 20 years in hip hop, specifically Atlanta, specifically just the South in general and their influence on music.
And there's a lot of things that we like in the industry. I don't want to say we in the industry, but like industry people like talk about it. Let me fucking restart. Why are we just realizing this? Right? Like, think about it. Really think about this shit. You have, just to relate to something that's popular somewhat recently, like NWA, like the movie about that shit, right? It's like that shit, like that whole movement and that whole shit is like was so big back then, like huge. But we don't really, no one really thinks about the shit like hip hop becoming pop until about like what 3 or 4, 5 years ago is when they think it is when it like apparently like really started. But it had been way before, like, bro, like,
yeah,
I want to say like the 2000s, like that's really like it was the beginning of like the shift, I think. Like
you couldn't
the
deny
90s,
it.
Right.
And it's crazy. I was born in 2000.
Ish. Yo, hey, what did hold on, what do they call y'all? You know how they call people who's born in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Or 80s, they'll call them 80s babies, 90s babies. What do they call y'all, man?
Shitheads.
Hey, you said it. I didn't say that.
We're I mean, yeah. I don't know, like Gen X or Gen Z or stupid like
They're
that.
like Gen Z, Gen X or something like that. We're millennials.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Q, you were about to say something.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, like around 2000, people were selling records like, you know, Nelly, like you said, Nelly went diamond. Like, people like Kanye was out there doing well. Like Jay-Z, like a lot of heavy hitters came from hip hop.
Mhm.
Master P, even Master P's No Limit No Limit was the most southern music. They were going like 5 times, 6 times platinum, like
Ludacris and shit.
Ludacris. Like, you know, the thing is when you know a genre is popular, when you can just have random people get popular. Like you can just have random people that had barely even have equipment studio, right? Like we talked about people that are making lo-fi music that are selling records. You talking about people that are just yelling on beats that are selling records. Like that's how popular hip hop is at this point.
Because it's so saturated.
If you have, it's so saturated. If you have any type of like hip hop element, you got a shot. You know, so that's just what it is.
And moving off of that, it's like because of the fact that hip hop wasn't really recognized until like really like I want to say like starting like the 2010s, right? Is when like I feel like it kind of started to pick up a lot because you have more like I don't know, it's like you know the classic people like you got like Soulja Boy, just like all that good like nostalgic stuff from the past, right? And that's like the first I heard about Lil Wayne in like elementary school. I first heard about, and I was never even listening to any of this. I just like was aware of it because when I was young, like my dad's from fucking like Florida. My mom's from New Jersey, and her dad was like a R&B guy or whatever. So like they're all like my mom was like grew up on rock and roll, just being from the South. Like she eventually moved to Georgia, being from the South. My dad has always been a fan of music. Like he put me onto like Nirvana and all that shit. But I was only really listening to like rock and roll music just because like that's all my parents had ever really listened to. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really until I was able to like, you know, like once like you like get like a phone or get like the internet or a computer or whatever, then you like, because it was just like in my mind, I was always like, I'm just going to listen to this music. Because like, you know, I'm white. It's not a fucking secret that like, that like rock and roll and white people are like, it's like a thing. Right. So like, that's like, because my family at home, like, you know, like, that's just what I grew up listening to. But then I started to like, and really like, when I got into middle school, it was like I started, I learned how to skateboard, and then there was a bunch of kids who skated in my middle school, and it was just like, I was the only white kid in that group. So like those years for me, like that's when because they started to put me onto that shit. Like they're like, yo, listen to this. I started listening to like Gucci Mane, like A$AP Rocky, and like Kendrick, like the first like people I started listening to, like Isaiah Rashad and shit. You get into the lyrical shit. And then I'm like, you know, I'm still listening to rock like equally then. As we move through middle school, I'm slowly shifting less and less. I find Kanye, I find Future. When I found Future, bro, it was over with. Like I had never wanted to listen to rock and roll in my whole life. I got my first, and I was on Future late as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie, because like when like Move That Dope and shit was coming out, like I wasn't on his shit. But
he wasn't as tight.
But DS2, when fucking DS2 came out, I was 16. Maybe it came out like a year or two before, but I was 16 and I was my like auxiliary cord was fucked up in my car, and I wanted to listen to CDs. I went to Best Buy and I got Good Kid, Mad City. I got DS2. I got like a Sublime album, and then I think I got like a Bob Marley album. But Good Kid, Mad City, and DS2 were just like on fucking repeat. Every time I went somewhere in my car, I can like Good Kid, Mad City. I think that's the greatest album of all time.
I was gonna say
that's crazy.
Good Kid, Mad City is probably, I would say, probably one of the top 5 hip hop albums of all time.
That shit
think about the contrast, right? Because you have Kendrick that I'm listening to, and then I'm listening to fucking Future, which is like Atlanta shit, right? Like, so I was discovering the lyrical side of hip hop and the like the cultural, like the more like locally cultural like side of hip hop. So, and then from there, I just went for everything in between. And then I found like Ty Dolla $ign, one of my favorite artists.
Yeah. There you go.
When I found Cudi, bro, that was another.
Cudi was on, dude.
And Cudi's a fucking. Listen, there's certain dudes who I actually feel like they're just not even on the same level. Like we shouldn't even be speaking about them. We shouldn't even be speaking about them on the same. It's like, I don't want to say his name in vain. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like, bro, like we should be elevating him on so many different levels. Cudi is a genius. The most genius.
And nobody realizes it.
No. People do now. But they don't give him his props though. They don't. I was gonna say
single-handedly the most important hip hop figure, in my opinion, in the last 20 years. Like,
Facts.
Every
Facts.
single young artist that is out right now has some element of Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi bridged the gap.
Drake.
Yeah.
Drake.
Oh my God.
Early Kanye.
Travis fucking
Scott.
Scott.
Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Scott,
Big time Travis Scott.
I would even say there's elements of ASAP Rocky.
Of course.
Where I hear Kid
Yeah.
Cudi.
Reese LaFleur, bro. Reese LaFleur did that song Unkillable.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's everybody, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I was going to say, just to kind of give my last take on it. We got to pay homage to rock and roll too, like, because what hip hop has also incorporated a lot of rock into their music also. Like if you look at Juice WRLD's album, his last album, Juice WRLD, like those are rock vibes you're hearing. Those aren't like.
What's the most popular instrument in trap music today? Listen to Gunna, listen to Lil Baby.
Exactly.
The fucking they're just that
bro, it's the fucking guitar, man.
Like,
you hear I keep talking about the damn guitars in music. That shit is so crazy. It's like it's literally taken over fucking production. It's taken over music.
Rappers
for a while, trap music
rappers want to be rock stars also. So it's
exactly.
like I love how they're meshing like as of late. Like they're meshing really well to the point where it's like in unison. So
because think Beethoven, right? What was the main instrument back in like the early like Gucci Mane like Beethoven like days? That organ, like that piano, like that like real like melodic piano.
Yeah, Beethoven is heavy with the piano.
Exactly.
That's his shit.
And everybody did that. Everyone tried to emulate him. And like piano in trap music, like southern trap music, like that shit is so common if you look like early shit. So now I feel like guitar is kind of like not replacing it, but like guitar has definitely become one of those instruments that's like a staple for certain musicians. Like,
oh man,
I can't hear a Gunna song without a fucking guitar like Gunna anymore.
That shit sounds majestic.
So
Gunna sounds majestic over a guitar.
And then when you add the flute, you can't go wrong with
Drake.
The flute. Whoa!
Oh man, hey, this has been fucking fun, man. Hey, Uncle Bendr, thank you so much for pulling up, man. For real, thank you.
Yeah. Anytime.
Great conversation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, man, you're welcome anytime, man. We're gonna be looking out for that new single, Blue Pill. What the fuck is that? Blue Pill. And also when you drop in that other joint, let us know, man. Let us know.
That'll be a while, but I mean, y'all be the first to know.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Word. Hey, man, listen, y'all need to go follow this man. Listen to his new song that he's dropping on, I think he said the 25th, right? Am I wrong?
The
25th of September. Blue Pill, check that out. Wise Gang, we are fucking out.
Yes, sir.
Idlerflix for the culture.
What about this? What if I got a pen just like doing like this? How about that?
Hey.
Close enough.
Yeah, that works too. That works.